having that big ceremony in front of the community, I thought that was really acknowledging the relationship that this division is trying to grow with us Indigenous people. They're acknowledging the problems, they're acknowledging that we need the support.
Today we recognize that the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples of Canada were the traditional caretakers of this land.
With the ceremony and everything, I think it's just trying to say we're all as one and we're all going to do it together. And we're not going to just focus on one person, we're going to pick each other up.
The first word that comes to mind for me is pride. Pride in our board for understanding the importance of this, the understanding that reconciliation is a real thing and we need to move towards that. To see this is kind of a culmination of all that, but yet it's also a starting point for more.
It's really good that we have that symbolic representation of that equality, that beginning that process of reconciling. I come from an era, a colonial area, where we were put into a residential school as child prisoners. And I spent 9 years of my life as one of those child prisoners. And it really, what it taught us is to hate ourselves as Indigenous people, not to have anything that will give us any pride and any history or any knowledge of who we are because of the colonial process we've been through. It's not only Indigenous people that have suffered because they've been told the misconceptions, the outright racial beliefs that they've been brought up with as to why we are the way we are. But they don't understand how our past has contributed to that. They need to know a different way of looking at us.
Hi, my name is Patricia Gervais and I'm from Flying Dust. And I would like to welcome you all here today on this wonderful day that we've been waiting for a long time. So we're very grateful for this. When I went to school here in Meadow Lake, again, it always wasn't the best experience that I've had. I didn't get a sense of belonging. I never got a sense of pride in who I was. And I never got a sense of fully belonging to any school within the town of Meadow Lake. Now as an educator, I can provide that sense of belonging for my students. I can provide that sense of pride and identity for them, and I choose to do that every day with everything that I teach. My classes that I teach are Indigenous Studies and Cree language. Therefore, I have a real great opportunity to involve students in learning about who they are as Indigenous people. And also people who are not Indigenous, to also kind of look at who we are as Indigenous people and why we need to be proud of ourselves, why we can be more than what people expect of us, why we can go out in the world and do everything that everyone else can.
As a community, we're all one. We're brothers and sisters. That's how Indigenous people view each other. Being able to bring the community together as one and to have everyone here and to teach in front of them, like the elders were talking in front of the community and everyone just listening and being able to learn from this situation. I thought that was really cool.
We utilize our elders a lot in our schools, but just to learn from them, to understand their perception of this, and their perception usually comes from love and forgiveness and understanding, right? A lot of them have been through a lot of things. So seeing them out there and being part of that just shows how people can, forgive and move on. If they can do that, why can't we as non-Indigenous people? And when we talk about reconciliation, it's really us reconciling, meaning a lot of non-Indigenous people. We keep wanting Indigenous people to reconcile. They've done that. Like when you talk to these, they've reconciled. They put it to bed. They understand that they need to move forward, right? And they have to do it in a positive, forgiving manner. So seeing them out there, awesome. And seeing the flags actually blowing in the breeze was pretty emotional. We saw tremendous pride today in the people that were here. I think there'll be some questions. There'll be some people who will challenge it, and that's okay, because whether you're proud of this or you don't know it or you're kind of, why are we doing that? There's a learning opportunity in that.
The fact that we had so many of our students out there, not only performing and doing the land acknowledgements and watching and just being part of it was amazing. The focus was on the Indigenous ceremonial part. We did use the Indigenous way of knowing. And so for me, that was really, really important. If we are going to acknowledge that we belong, that they allowed us to do it in that manner.
Oh, Canada,
It is our responsibility to teach our youth about beauty and vibrance of our local Indigenous people's culture, heritage, and history. Teach them how we can work together to strengthen the ties between our communities and encourage them to listen to the stories of their elders, learn about and heal from our shared history, and be kind to one another.
We've been here for thousands of years as Indigenous people. We have a lot of knowledge. We have a lot of expertise that need to be incorporated into the education system. And we've been locked out from that system. And so now we're looking at it as a renewed sense of doing things differently. And that's what symbolically the raising of the flags, all four of them going up at the same time, symbolize that equality that needs to happen to begin to turn things around, giving us hope for a better future for all of us.